Hi, I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Welcome to my craft corner. Today I have another exciting installment of my craft box challenge to share with you. I've been having so much fun over the last few weeks making cards using the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. And today's cards have a little bit of a twist on what's in my box. But before I get to that, if you have any questions about rubber stamping or card making, if you'd like to order Stampin' Up product, or maybe attend a class, or host your own event, I would love to help you with any of that. Go ahead and leave me a comment or send me an email and let me know how I can help you. All of the dimensions and more photos of today's projects are available on my website, and the link to my website is in the description to this video. Of course, if you like today's videos, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Okay, Onigo, let's get stamping. Okay, so today I am adding something extra to the craft box. If you remember a couple weeks ago when I introduced this series of videos, I talked about how everything in my craft box, all of it added up to $125. And if you chose to join Stampin' Up, you could get all of those items for $99 instead of $125 and free shipping, which is already an amazing deal. But during Sale-A-Bration, it gets even better, because during the months of January and February, when you decide to join Stampin' Up, become a Stampin' Up demonstrator, or at least just purchase the starter kit because you want a great deal, you also get 5 packs of 6x6 designer series paper. So let me tell you a little bit about that paper. You get 5 packs. You get one each of the different color collections. So brights, subtles, regals, neutrals, you get one each of those. And you also get a pack of the 2020-2022 in colors. Now, why don't you get the 2019-2021 in colors? Because the paper that you are going to get is the new patterns that will be available in the upcoming 2021-2022 annual catalog. So that's really exciting. Brand new patterns. This is the only way that you can get them right now. Until May, you have no other way to get these awesome patterns. So an amazing deal, 5 packs of 6x6 cardstock and 6x6 designer series paper. Those are normally, $11.50 each, I think. So we're talking over $50 additional worth of product in your starter kit. That's already $125 worth of product that you choose yourself with no shipping cost. What an amazing deal that is. So definitely a good thing. And that is why I am adding this designer series paper into the cards I'm making today, because I'm gonna assume that I purchased all the supplies for my craft box as my starter kit, and I get the bonus paper. So this is what it looks like. Let me show you the patterns. There's of course 4 different patterns. It's double-sided. So there is this plaid, and on the other side kind of this, I don't know what it is. Like, it's not really a trefoil. It's not a diamond. It's just kind of a fun pattern to it. And then you also get this kind of dot line pattern and kind of this box pattern. So some really different patterns this year, really pretty. And I love this plaid, but yep. So all these different colors. This one right here is the Regal set. But like I said, you get one each of the different color collections plus the 2020 to 2022 in colors. So really awesome deal. Let me go ahead and put those away. Just to remind you, the Craft Box Challenge is using the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. So here's that stamp set. But today, all of my cards, or I should say none of my cards, use the strawberry. So we are going strawberry free today, doing something a little bit different. I'm going to start with a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock, and I had my dimensions here. Here they are. Okay. All of the dimensions will be available on my website, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you them too. So if you want to look at what they are, they're on my website, and the link to my website is of course in the description to this video. I'm starting with a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock that is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. And I'm just going to fold this on the score line that I made at 4 1/4. So there's my card base. Then I have a piece of that designer series paper. Now all I have done it was 6x6, and I just cut it from corner to corner, so I have a triangle of it. This is basic gray. Then I have a piece of basic white thick cardstock that is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And I have another piece for the inside that's 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of Coastal Cabana that is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to start by layering on my piece of designer series paper. And I just have, you know, my multi-purpose glue. And this is just going to go right on the front here. So I'm just kind of seeing where I want the glue so it doesn't get a lot of extra. And I'm just going to lay this right on the front of my card. I love the way that this looks. It gives it a nice, you know, the angles to it give it just kind of a movement to the card, right? Give it some excitement. So I'm just going to lay that right on the front. Try to get it straight. Just like that. So I haven't centered that point. I've kind of pushed it all the way to one side. Just going to set that aside and let it dry, and we'll cut it in just a few minutes. Now, what I am going to do next is that I'm going to stamp some leaves on this piece of, what do I want to say? Having trouble talking today. On this piece of basic white cardstock. And first, I should have had this ready, but I want to grab the stamp that I want to use for this. I'm going to use this Hello stamp. So let me grab that. So I'm going to start by stamping the greeting where I want it. This way, I know that I am not going to accidentally cover up my greeting with my stamped images. So I'm just going to stamp this up here. If I can get it straight up in the upper right-hand corner. And of course, I am using my tuxedo, or not tuxedo black, my jet black Stays On ink pad. Then I have the leaf image. With the Stays On ink pad, any felt pad, I generally like to leave the stamp on the table and ink it up upside down, just because you have to give it a little bit more force. So I find it just works a little bit better. So now I'm just going to lay down some leaves. This ink is very sticky, so you want to peel it up from the cardstock slowly and carefully because it does sometimes rip. There's my leaves. Now I want to add in some flowers, and I'm using the larger outline stamp of the flowers. So I'm just going to kind of pack these in here. Then I want to grab some scrap, and I have some scrap over here. Here's a piece of some scrap paper, and I have the smaller flower, and I just want to stamp about 5 of these, 5 or 6 of them on some, oop, see, that one did not come out, and it tore the paper. Remember what I was saying about lifting up slowly and carefully? That is why. So let me get that paper off there. So there we go. And again, I'm just going to make 5 or 6 of these. All right, so I have 5 of those. Now I'm going to grab my little Coastal Cabana spot, and I have the small flower fill in. And I'm just going to ink that up with the Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to stamp this right over top. So again, I'm doing that on all 5 of these. There are my 5 small flowers. And I also want to do the bigger flowers as well. So I need to grab, well, Well, I was supposed to be using all the same block for this. I apologize. I guess I am cheating all over the place today because I am using multiple blocks to go a little bit faster, but you could definitely use the same block to do all of these. So there's my 5 flowers, and I want to go ahead and I want to stamp the outside of the leaves. Let me grab the outside of my leaves. I'm just going to set these on here so I know I need to wipe them off. Not the outside of my leaves, I need to do the inside of the leaves. So let me grab some Granny Apple Green because I love Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana together. Just ink this up and just line those up. The clear blocks make it so nice and easy to see right over the top. These are super easy to line up. Stamping all those in there. One last one. And there we go. Now, I'm going to start layering things up. So I'm going to adhere this piece of Whisper White cardstock. Not Whisper White, Basic White. We've switched, right? Basic White cardstock to the piece of Coastal Cabana. And it's just going to go right on there. Just like that. And I want to punch out these little flowers with my punch. Now this is the thick white cardstock, and that means that extra effort to punch it. It's very, very thick and heavy. So normally if I were not doing the craft box challenge, this would be just on regular thickness of cardstock, which would be a little bit easier to punch. So there's my 5 flowers, and we're just going to adhere these with some Stampin' Dimensionals to my card front. And let's be good. Let's lay these where I want them before I get started. Just trying to cover up some bits, some of the stems on those on the leaves. So we'll just do it just like that. Won't that be cute? All right. There are my flowers that I've added to the front with those Stampin' Dimensionals. And now let's just finish up this card. So I'm going to take my scissors and I am just going to trim off the edges. So I've just turned over my card very quickly and I'm just going to trim the edges with my scissors. I'm trying to get nice and close to the fold, but I don't want to accidentally nick that fold, because that would not be good. So there, I just cut that off. And then we're going to add this to the front with some more Stampin' Dimensionals, because why not? We have plenty of dimensionals. Let's use these suckers. And I always say, is it really homemade if there aren't dimensionals on it? So we'll pull the backs off these dimensionals and adhere this to the card front. Just like that. Isn't that adorable? And I do have an inside to the card. So let's just very, very quickly, I'm going to just stamp. I'm not going to stamp much. We're just going to stamp some flowers. Right in there. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I wanted to add a little bit of yellow. I forgot about this. I want to add just a little bit of yellow to the centers of my flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pencil. Remember, I have a pencil in my craft box. I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to use the eraser. And I'm just going to come in with my Daffodil Delight and add a little bit of yellow to the center of my flowers. This would have been easier had I done it before I glued things down, but it's going to work. We can get in there. There we go. Let's add some in here too. It's just a quick way to add just a little bit of Daffodil Delight to that. And we'll just glue this to the interior of my card. I could stamp the outside of those flowers too, but I already kind of took that stamp off the block, and so I'm just going to go ahead with this for now. I'll just lay this right in here. And there is my first card. Isn't that cute? For my second card today, I'm using a Mango Melody card base. So this is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold that on that score line to create my card base. Now I have cut a whole bunch of strips of pumpkin pie. So that's the pumpkin pie. I think this is crushed curry and a little So Saffron, as well as the Mango Melody. So I have a bunch of different strips here, and I'm going to start by laying down a few of these strips on my card front. And these are going to be all different heights. The strips vary. Some of them are 3/4 inch and some of them are 1 inch wide. And I'm going to start by gluing down just some of the wider ones. These aren't going to overlap at all yet. I'm just going to glue down a couple different ones, and I have different patterns here as well. And I just want to start covering up the left side of my card front. So we're going to go about 2/3 of the way across the card front, and have it be, they're going to eventually overlap, but right now they're not overlapping. They're just going to go, I've kind of putting down the base. So I'm going to put this one the furthest over that I want them to be. Maybe just a little bit over here. All right. And now I'm going to overlap and I'm going to try to use like different colors and not get, kind of make it a variety. But I'm also not really planning this, so I don't know what we're going to come up with. It's a mystery. Not sure where I want to put this last piece. Sometimes that happens. Let's go over here. So I think I've covered up more of this card front than I originally intended. Maybe I think I wanted to stop it just a little bit further over, but we're going to go with what we got. Obviously, it's not like I'm going to redo it. So let's go. I'm going to put this right in here. So now I have all these strips all overlapped on my card front, and they're hanging off the top, and that's okay. We're going to cut them after they dry. We'll give those just a minute to dry. I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and this piece is 1 inch by 3 inches, and I'm going to stamp thank you on here. Just inking this up with my black StazOn ink pad, and I'm just going to stamp thank you right in the center. Just like that. Now I want to stamp a couple of leaves, and I have some Granny Apple Green here, and I'm just going to use the outline of the leaf and stamp it right on this pattern paper. So there's one, and I'm going to do one over here on this piece too. There we go. Now I want to use a piece of scrap from this pattern paper up here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. Again, just lining up my scissors with that fold, being very careful not to nick the fold. And just slice those off. So I have a fun top on my card. And now I'm hoping one of these Mango Melody pieces will be glue free and will work for me. And I want to, will this fit? I think so. I have the small flower image, outline image, and I'm going to stamp it on this piece of Mango Melody. Just like that. And now I'm going to grab my punch and punch these things out. So we'll start by punching the leaf. You can see how much easier that is to punch with the pattern paper versus the thick white cardstock. So a couple of little leaves. And then this floral image, this little flower too. Get this lined up. So there's my little flower. And now it's just some card assembly. Get some of my scraps out of the way here. I'm going to glue this thank you onto a piece of Mango Melody cardstock that is 1 3/16 by 3 3/16. And then this is going to go on a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock that is 1.5 by 3.5. So we have a skinny border and a thicker border, because I always like to have two different widths border. So just like that. And then this is going to go on our card front. I'm going to go ahead and put it, originally I had kind of envisioned it down here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and stick it, well, how about right there? That'll be nice, huh? I'll go ahead and put it right there. And now I'm going to add some leaves, those 2 leaves we punched out. Stick the other one just like that, and let's put a dimensional on the back of this flower. grab my dimensionals, pop that off, and we'll just put this flower right up here. So there is that. And now let's do the inside. So I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is, what is it? 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I want to grab, so in this set, there's the thank you, and then there was, that was so sweet of you. So I want to grab that was so sweet of you. And I'm just going to put that on a block real quick. Ink that up. And I will just stamp that right in the center. And then what do we want to do on here? Let's just add, sometimes what I like to do is just add a very small border. Let me grab the right cardstock, the right colors. Okay, here we go. How about we'll just add some Mango Melody. So let's just trim this out. So I grabbed my paper trimmer and a piece of that Mango Melody Designer Series paper, and I'm just going to cut a little 1/4 inch strip just like that, and we're going to add this to the inside of the card. So I'll just put a bead of adhesive down the center here. And this is just going to go towards the bottom here, just to add like a little stripe. Just a little stripe inside the card. Really easy way to decorate the inside of the card. A lot of times I just have, you know, a little bit of scrap left over that I just used. This time I didn't, but definitely a good way to use up a little bit of extra scrap. Just put some adhesive on there, and then this goes right on the inside of the card. Just like that. And there is card number 2. For the third card that I'm going to show you today, I decided to go with a little bit softer colors. Since I have this fun Designer Series paper that I added into my craft box for this week, I decided I was going to take that opportunity to use a different color palette than what I can use with what's in the box, because what's in the box is generally brights and don't really have a lot of soft. So I went with some subtle colors. I have Calypso Coral and a little bit of So Saffron, some Mint Macaron, and some soft seafoam, right? All right, then I have a piece of basic white cardstock. Remember, this is the thick cardstock, so it makes a really nice card base all by itself. So it is, of course, just like all the others, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just folding it right down that score line. So there's my card front. And then I have a strip of basic white cardstock, and this strip is, let me tell you real fast, it is 4 3/4 by 1 inch. All right, and I'm going to start, I have the birthday greeting from this Sweet Strawberry stamp set. I'm going to ink that up with my jet black StazOn, and I'm going to stamp that kind of towards the right side, centering it from top to bottom. Hopefully give that a really nice stamp. Pull that up carefully. There is that beautifulness. Now I'm going to start, I have a piece of that Calypso Coral, and this is just 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to cover the whole card front with this. Oh my goodness, because it's just so pretty. It's going to go all over the card front with just a little bit of a white border. So just like that. Isn't that pretty? I love this kind of, I don't know what those are, those little diamondy things, whatever they are. Now I'm going to stamp, I'm going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to start with the small flower. And I want about 3 of these. So here's our first one. And a second one. We'll come over here and do a third one. So 3 little flowers, and then I want to make some leaves. You can see I've already punched some leaves out of here before. So I'm going to come into the soft sea foam, and we'll stamp a leaf on there. And then I want two leaves from the mint macaroon. So there's 1 and 2. And now it's just a matter of punching and assembling. So let's grab my punch and start punching out these stamped images. So I love stamping on this pattern paper because the pattern's real subtle. So it just kind of colors it in. You can kind of see a pattern on there, but it doesn't overwhelm, which works really well for this technique. So just punch those 2 leaves. And then I will come in and I'll punch a third, that soft sea foam leaf. So there's that one. And then punch out my 3 little flowers. 1. And will it punch this way? I have not been able to decide whether I think that this punch really lines up with the flower or if it has multiple lining up with it. It seems to work any direction, but I could be wrong. I haven't paid that close of attention to it. So there's my 3 little flowers. I want to start, I'm going to adhere my birthday greeting. I'm just going to put that right on the front, kind of towards the bottom half, and it doesn't go all the way across. It's just going to go part of the way across. It starts on one edge and goes most of the way across the front of the card. Then I'm going to start gluing down my pieces. It's nice to have 2 different color leaves. It just kind of gives it a little variety. Now I'm going to add my first flower directly to my card base. I'm going to stick it right here. I like to cover up those little ends. I'm not sure if they're very pretty. I kind of wish they weren't there. And I could clip them off very easily, of course. But I can also just cover them up with a flower. So let's put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of these flowers. Here's the first one, about right there. And then we'll do the third one. And I want to put him kind of over here, just hanging out. There we go. So that is super quick and easy. That is card number 3. Isn't that cute? Really soft. So let me pull in the other couple of cards so we can see all 3 of them again. So there are the 3 cards that I made today with that beautiful, gorgeous pattern paper that you can get free in the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit during Sale-A-Bration in the months of January and February. Thank you so much for joining me today. Weren't those cards fun? And that new designer series paper that you can get free with the starter kit is amazing. I love it. If you have any questions about joining Stampin' Up! Or anything card making or paper crafting related, go ahead, leave me a comment or send me an email. If you liked today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and come back and see me for more tips, techniques, and inspiration. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.